As long as we keep allowing animals to be killed, and we eat animals, their karmic repercussions, we will have diseases of our body. So when you get sick, remember that's a direct result of you eating animals. So when you get sick, mantras, pujas, all that, is very little help. Why? You create the causes. As long as you keep putting corpses in your mouth, having them slaughtered, butchered, tortured, and killed. I go to wet markets in KL, and I go and I take students there to see how the chickens are cooped up the whole night before they're slaughtered to death. Slaughtered, plucked, killed. And then you eat it. As long as you eat these beings who die in terror, who you are the cause of their death, indirectly, you will have diseases of your body. Expect cancer. Expect all kinds of problems to come to your body. You create the causes. Some of my students, I tell them, they're in Dharma for so long. I say, you know what, go vegetarian. They find it so difficult to go vegetarian. Do you know why they find it difficult to go vegetarian? Because their karmic habituation for negativity is extremely strong. And they shouldn't be proud of it, because that will lead them to lower depths in the future. You can't even go vegetarian because you're so attached to eating corpses. You can't even go vegetarian. Never mind talking about compassion, benefiting sentient beings, transformation, attainments. What? Don't eat corpse. Don't eat corpse. Why is that so hard? Then you give excuses, you give validations, you go on and on. The Chinese New Year, and you go for friends, family. You make all kinds of excuses that you can eat meat. I'm giving you an example. Why? The meat's not the problem. The problem is you. That you, yourself, have so much negative karma that it forces you to justify negative action. That's all it is. Oh, I can't eat vegetarian. I want meat. You better recite more Tsongkhapa. Yeah, you should be ashamed. Especially people who teach the Dharma, they eat meat. How can the Dharma come out of your mouth and the meat go in your mouth? How can? How can this mouth put flesh and then Dharma? Then why don't you put Dharma and flesh together? Put a hamburger in your mouth and omani pemo. How can? How can meat and omani pemo mix? Omani pemo is Kuan Yin ma, compassion what? Where got Kuan Yin say go have hamburger? Go kill. So if you're teaching the Dharma and you teach Dharma and you're crying, you're so, oh, wonderful, oh, Dharma, oh, and afterwards you eat chicken. Where's all the tears? You want to benefit all sentient beings. What? All sentient beings except chickens, is it? All sentient beings except meat, huh? Well, all sentient beings. It doesn't make sense. So if you find it difficult to not eat meat, it means you're not committed. Simple. You don't make excuses. Oh, but my health law. Oh, no. I read a vegetarian manual. It says, it's not that vegetarian makes your body weak. It's the balance of vegetarian. The lack of balance or the lack of the combination that makes you weak. It's not having meat. So remember, here's the hamburger. Here's your lungs and the mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to anybody? Look, so what? You have the power to bless the meat. He take good rebirth because of you. Then you go to the zoo and recite mantras to all the animals. You don't have to eat them to bless them. You shouldn't eat meat. Not because you're a bad person, because we have so many things to eat. I'm a vegetarian. Look, I'm very healthy. You should. Have a commitment towards something. And don't make excuses. It's hard and difficult. And when no one's looking, you sneak away to KFC. I walk by, I catch you, you get slapped. Don't think I don't know some of you sneak to KFC. Don't think I don't know you buy meat when no one's looking. Don't think. Very bad karma. Very bad. That's why I opened a vegetarian restaurant. If you eat there, you collect good karma. If you don't, bad karma lah. Vegetarian I promote is just one. There's much more. That's not our only focus. There's much more. So therefore, what I'm focusing is not the vegetarian, I'm focusing on our mind, how it tricks us to do things. That's all it is. It just tricks us. So if we do miksema, we purify the negative karma that fuels negative thinking. That fuels negative thinking. That humans have this powerful ability to envision, to put themselves in place of another,
although we are not experiencing what they're experiencing, and feel their pain, feel their torture, feel their experience, and empathize, and go beyond empathy, and to do something about it. Because if we don't, we enable and collude inadvertently with monsters who perpetrate these acts on others. So when we stay quiet, and we do nothing, and we make no effort, although directly we didn't do anything bad, indirectly we are colluding, and we are allowing others to be monsters, others to harm themselves and others. It's very powerful. So when we have this kind of imagination where we can put ourselves in the place of others, example in the meditations of the Bodhisattva Charyavatara Chunjuk by the great Master Shantideva, the whole meditation, the whole process of gaining the highest human potential is bodhicitta. The whole meditation behind gaining bodhicitta is to empathize with others, is to visualize other people's sufferings by visualizing oneself in all the 6 realms, by reading up on what you can experience in the 6 realms, by visualizing what's happening in the 6 realms, and the sufferings and the difficulties, and the incredible amount of pain that beings go through in the 6 realms of samsara. And to read about it, understand it, contemplate, meditate, and then to put yourselves in that place, and then to empathize with those who are already there or will go there. And from that, develop a genuine sense of compassion that if you don't do something about it, those who are there will stay there for a long time, and those who are going there will continue to go there. So to be able to imagine and envision ourselves in the places of others that we have not been or haven't been to in a long time, that we know would be grotesquely scary, would be unimaginably horrible, would be painfully frightening, makes us a better person. It's like people who eat meat but do not want to watch the animals being slaughtered. It's like people who want to have animals slaughtered but don't want to visit the butcher houses or the slaughter houses. It's like people who want to see the cooked meat on their plate, all nice and dressed up with gravy and sauces and little sprinklings of flowers garnered with mints and herbs, with beautiful candles and beautiful silverware and diningware laid out, but they don't want to see how that piece of meat got on their beautiful dining table. When I see all these magazines with dining and these cooking shows, and you know how they prepare and baste and fry and cook and barbecue, and then they go into so much with the dining and their tables and how it's set, and the candles and the plates and the placement of the forks and knives, and all the energy put into using the forks and knives, and the proper way, and which fork, which knife, which spoon to use for what meal. They put so much energy into it. And then, you know, the napkins, it's embroidered and it's a conversation piece. And the napkin rings, the design is 18th century, 19th century, it's Chinese, it's English. And all the details they put into that one meal is celebrating the death and the murder of an animal. If your meal is not vegetarian, of course. So what's the big hype about dining? What's the big hype about dining tables and dining ware and you know, expensive china and you know, antique silverware and the candelabra and the cooking and all that? What is the hype? You are in fact creating an altar, a shrine to the death and murder of millions of animals who need to be slaughtered mercilessly to get on your beautiful dining table. That becomes a conversation piece that you enjoy. So are you not colluding with monsters? Are you not colluding with the butchery and the murder? And to have magazines about it, and to have photographs about it, and to talk about, and to look forward to these little dining parties. It's just an example of us not using our imaginations for something higher. Because if we can imagine the fear, the stench of the fear, the total fear, the total screaming of an animal being led to be butchered and the tears flowing from their eyes, how can dining be a positive experience? Or it becomes an art, or it becomes something we live our lives for and waste our times on. How can it be?